You sit down to read. You pick up a book you've been meaning to finish for months, maybe longer. You open it. You start reading. And within 2 minutes, something happens. Your eyes are moving across the words, but your brain isn't holding anything. You realize you've read the same paragraph 3 times and still don't know what it said. It's not boredom exactly. It's something sharper, a kind of mental irritation, like your mind is physically rejecting the activity. You feel restless. Your hand reaches for your phone without you deciding to. You put the book down, and you think, what's wrong with me? Because this didn't used to happen. You remember a version of yourself that could disappear into a book for hours. That version felt natural. This version feels broken. And here's the part that hurts the most. You want to read. You're not trying to avoid it. You actually picked up the book. You made the time. You created the space. You even felt a little excited about it. But your brain won't let you stay. The discomfort builds so quickly that leaving feels like the only option. And every time this happens, you tell yourself the same thing. I just don't have the focus anymore. I'm lazy. I've lost something I used to have. Everyone else can do this. Why can't I? You start to believe there's something fundamentally wrong with you, that you're somehow less capable than you used to be, that the part of you that loved reading just disappeared. And with that belief comes shame, quiet shame, the kind you don't talk about, the kind that sits with you when you see other people reading on the train, when you see someone post about finishing another book, when you walk past your bookshelf and see all those unread spines. But I need you to hear this. You're not broken. You didn't lose anything. Something else happened. Something that wasn't your fault. And once you see it clearly, the guilt starts to lift. Because this feeling you're describing, it didn't come from nowhere. It didn't happen because you're weak or undisciplined. It happened because your brain was trained so quietly, so gradually, that you didn't notice it happening. And now it's running a program you never agreed to install. Let me show you what I mean. Think about the last few years of your life. Think about how you've spent your time when you weren't working or sleeping. Most of it, if we're honest, has been spent in front of a screen, scrolling, watching, clicking, swiping. And every single one of those actions gave you something. A little hit of novelty, a little burst of interest, a quick reward. You didn't have to wait for it.
You didn't have to sit with discomfort. You didn't have to hold your attention on something slow. The reward came immediately. Swipe, new image. Click, new video. Scroll, new post. Every single time. Instant, effortless, satisfying. Your brain learned something from this. It learned that discomfort doesn't have to be tolerated. It learned that waiting is optional. It learned that the moment something feels slow or boring or effortful, you can escape, and escape feels good. Escape feels like relief. So your brain started to prefer it, not because you're lazy, but because you taught it accidentally that fast relief is always available. You taught it that discomfort can be solved in 1 second, that boredom doesn't have to be endured, that the gap between wanting something and getting something can be nearly invisible. And your brain, it adapted, it optimized, it started to expect that speed, to need that speed, to feel uncomfortable without it. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. Reading a book is the opposite of that pattern. Reading requires you to sit still, to move slowly, to stay with one idea for more than 5 seconds. There's no swipe, there's no skip, there's no next thing waiting right below your thumb. You have to stay. You have to let the sentence finish. You have to let the idea build. You have to trust that meaning will come if you just keep going. And when your brain has been trained to expect instant relief from discomfort, staying feels like pain. It feels wrong, like something is broken. But nothing is broken. Your brain is just doing what it was trained to do. It's trying to protect you from discomfort. It's trying to get you back to the pattern it knows. Fast reward, quick escape, immediate relief. And reading doesn't offer any of that. So your brain resists. It sends you signals, restlessness, irritation, the urge to check your phone, the feeling that you can't focus, the thought that maybe this book just isn't good enough, that maybe you should try a different one, that maybe reading just isn't for you anymore. But that feeling, it's not the truth. It's just a signal that says, this is uncomfortable and I know a faster way. And if you believe that signal is the truth, you'll put the book down. You'll think something is wrong with you. You'll think you've lost the ability to focus. But you haven't. Your focus wasn't lost. It was hijacked. Hijacked by a system that profits from your attention. A system that needs you to keep scrolling, keep watching, keep clicking. A system that built itself around one simple truth. The faster the reward, the harder it is to walk away. And you didn't sign up for this.
You didn't wake up one day and decide to rewire your brain. You didn't sit down and think, I want to make reading feel painful. You were just living, using the tools everyone else was using, spending time the way everyone else was spending it, trying to relax, trying to unwind, trying to feel connected. But the tools were designed to be hard to put down, designed to feel better than the slower things, designed to make reading feel painful by comparison. And now, here you are, wanting to read, trying to read, but feeling like your brain won't cooperate. And I know how that feels. It feels like failure, like you're the problem, like everyone else figured out how to manage their attention and you're the only one struggling. But you're not. The problem is the training. And training can be undone. Not with tricks, not with hacks, not with some 5-step system, but with understanding. Because once you see what happened, you stop blaming yourself. You stop thinking you're broken. You start to see that your brain is just doing what it learned to do. And if it learned one pattern, it can learn another. But here's the part no one tells you. Unlearning doesn't feel good at first. It feels exactly like what you've been trying to avoid. Discomfort, restlessness, the urge to escape. Because your brain still remembers the old pattern. It still expects the fast reward. And when you sit down with a book and stay there, even when it's uncomfortable, your brain is going to protest. It's going to send you every signal it has. This is boring. You're wasting time. You should check your phone. You're not even absorbing this. This book isn't that good anyway. You could be doing something more productive. And all of those thoughts will feel true. They'll feel urgent. They'll feel like facts. But they're not truth. They're just noise. Noise from a system that's trying to pull you back. Noise from a brain that's confused about why you're not following the usual script. And the only way through is to stop treating the discomfort like evidence. Stop treating restlessness like proof that something is wrong. Because nothing is wrong. Your brain is just recalibrating. It's just remembering what it feels like to move slowly, to sit with one thing, to let meaning build gradually instead of instantly. And that process, it doesn't happen in one session. It doesn't happen because you read one chapter. It happens over time, over many sessions, over many moments where you choose to stay, even when staying feels hard. And here's what starts to happen when you do. The discomfort doesn't disappear, but it starts to feel different, less like pain, more like effort. The kind of effort that doesn't break you, the kind that just asks you to be present, the kind that feels almost neutral after a while. And somewhere in that effort, something shifts. You start to notice that reading isn't actually painful, it's just slow. And slow isn't bad. Slow is just unfamiliar now.
Your brain forgot what slow feels like. It forgot that not everything has to feel immediately rewarding to be worth doing. It forgot that some things take time to reveal themselves. But it's remembering. And as it remembers, the restlessness starts to quiet. Not because you're fighting it, not because you're forcing yourself to focus, but because you're not feeding the pattern anymore. You're not reaching for the phone every time discomfort appears. You're not teaching your brain that escape is always the answer. You're teaching it something else, that you can stay, that discomfort doesn't have to be fixed immediately, that meaning takes time, that depth requires patience, that some of the best things you've ever experienced came slowly. And your brain, it listens, not right away, but eventually. Because brains are adaptable, they learn, they change, they follow the pattern you give them. And if you give them a pattern of staying, they'll start to prefer staying. Not because it's easy, but because it becomes familiar again. Because it starts to feel normal. Because the discomfort stops feeling like a crisis and starts feeling like just part of the process. And I know this sounds slow. I know it sounds like it's going to take forever. And maybe part of you is thinking, I don't have time for this. I need to fix this now. I need to get back to how I used to be, fast. But here's the thing. You're already spending the time. You're already sitting down, trying to read, feeling frustrated, giving up. You're already picking up the book, putting it down, feeling guilty, trying again tomorrow. You're already in the struggle. The only question is whether you're going to keep blaming yourself for it, or whether you're going to see it for what it is, a pattern, a learned response, something that was built piece by piece without you realizing it. And if it was built, it can be unbuilt, not through force, not through shame, not through willpower, but through repetition, through choosing again and again to sit with the discomfort instead of running from it, through being kind to yourself when it's hard, through recognizing that this isn't about discipline, it's about retraining. And retraining takes time, it takes patience, it takes showing up even when it doesn't feel like it's working. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying you're going to wake up tomorrow and suddenly love reading again. I'm not saying the discomfort will vanish after one good session. But I am saying this.
Every time you stay, even for 5 minutes, every time you sit with a book and let the restlessness move through you without acting on it, every time you notice the urge to check your phone and choose not to, you're retraining. You're teaching your brain that slow is safe, that discomfort is not danger, that boredom is not an emergency, that focus isn't something you lost, it's something you're rebuilding. One page at a time, one paragraph at a time, one sentence at a time, one moment of staying when everything in you wants to leave. And that's not weakness, that's not failure. That's the work, the real work. Not the work of productivity, not the work of optimization, not the work of becoming a better version of yourself, but the work of undoing what was done to you, of taking back what was quietly taken, your ability to be still, your ability to move slowly, your ability to let something take time, your ability to sit with a thought long enough to feel it fully. And I know it doesn't feel like much. I know it feels small. I know it feels like you're not making progress. But small is how it starts. Small is how patterns change. Small is how you prove to your brain that the old way isn't the only way. And if you keep going, if you keep choosing to stay even when it's hard, if you keep showing up even when it feels like nothing is changing, you'll start to notice something. The book in your hand won't feel like a battle anymore. It won't feel like something you have to force yourself through. It'll just feel like a book. And the words won't feel like they're sliding off your brain. They'll start to land. They'll start to mean something.
And you'll realize you were never broken. You were just trained. Trained by a world that moves too fast. Trained by tools that were built to keep you moving. Trained by a system that needed your attention more than you needed your peace. And now, you're training yourself back. Not to who you used to be, but to who you still are. Underneath all the noise, underneath all the speed, underneath all the guilt and the shame and the frustration, there's still a version of you that can sit with a book, that can get lost in a story, that can think one thought all the way through. That version didn't disappear. It's just been waiting. Waiting for you to stop fighting yourself. Waiting for you to stop believing you're broken. Waiting for you to see what really happened. And now that you see it, now that you know it wasn't your fault, now that you understand it's just a pattern, not a personality, you can start. Not perfectly, not easily, but honestly. One page, one moment, one choice to stay.
And that's enough.
That's enough.
It's always been enough.
Always been enough.
You just forgot.
You just forgot.
But you're remembering
But you're
now.
remembering now.
And that
And that
changes everything.